Welcome to the Hooligan Nation, a KISS-Centric podcast. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Rocco.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I checked. I checked before we started.
All right, making sure. Welcome to our version of As the KISS World Turns, where we discuss KISS current events, rumors, news, and interviews with current and past members. Strap in, crank it up, and let's talk KISS. What's up, Father Rocco?
How you doing?
Thank you. Thank you. We all need more of that in our lives these days.
Amen.
Oh, amen back. So I'm not going to ask you this week what you want to talk about, because I don't care what you want to talk about. It's about me this week.
Wow. Okay.
How's that?
That sounds good. I tell you what, I'll just look for the balls to come and I'll just hit them back to you.
You look for the balls to come?
Tennis balls. You ever play tennis before?
We're not interviewing Vinnie Vincent this week. You don't have to worry about the balls coming towards you.
Huh? I'm talking tennis. I got a forehand. I have no backhand.
Oh, do you? You're giving me way too much shit to run with. I'm just telling you, man. I'm trying to be kind and gentle to you. We're trying to be a kinder, gentler society. Okay? So I'm trying. But if you keep lobbing balls at me, you're going to force me to be me. And that's probably not good. Let's start this wonderful bonus episode up with Gene Simmons on Fail Better with David Duchovny. Father Rocco.
Yes.
Did you happen to do the research and watch or listen to this?
I dabbled a little bit. Honestly, Gene is doing the same routine with all. There's nothing, very, very, very little to offer. Most of the time, it's just you can tell when the interview is going to all be stick, and most of the time, so a lot of times the last couple interviews, to be honest with you, I'll listen a little bit, fast forward through most of it because I'm tired of seeing this. He's my guy again, but I get tired of seeing the character of Gene Simmons instead of the actual guy.
You're absolutely right. And unfortunately, I sat through whatever it was, an hour with my little handy dandy notebook and my handy dandy pen. And at the end of that hour, my notebook was blank.
I was going to say, you probably didn't even get a half a page.
I literally didn't put anything down. There was nothing newsworthy there. And there's a very simple reason why. And I have a theory on this. Would you like to hear my theory on this?
Absolutely. I mean, I have an idea where it may be going, but
do you?
Maybe. I might have an idea.
Well, I love it when you're wrong, so I'm going to let you go first then. Where am I going?
Well, I'm going to put the subject line saying that it's Paul related and it's a competitive thing, and he's aggravated that Paul's taken full control, so he's kind of like not really he's kind of just like whatever.
I did get a little bit of that from not only that interview, but from the one before that, but that's not it. I have a theory that Paul and Gene are only going on safe podcasts. Podcasts where they're not going to be asked questions that they don't want to answer. Podcasts that don't revolve around KISS and don't revolve around music. David Duchovny, The Honeydew, Howie Mandel, who clearly doesn't know anything about KISS, but he tries like hell. I think they're picking the safe places to go.
That's a good take. If anything, nobody can accuse them of not knowing how to navigate with media and the music business and everything. They at this point they've done it enough. They can dictate what they want to do and what they don't want to do. That's a cool shirt. What are you wearing?
Oh, what am I wearing?
Yeah, what is that?
That is our newest design.
Wow, I'm digging that.
Even has the Ace Frehley Les Paul on there, if you didn't notice that. It's more of an Ace-centric design, and on the back of it is lyrics that could be interpreted to be rock soldiers.
And I actually have it, but you know where I have it?
Where do you have it?
In my cart, because I'm waiting for payday.
Oh, cool. Well, I can understand that. This is My big word alert. This is
Gymnasium.
this is my homage to KJ Nodwell, who is a diehard Ace Frehley fan. So this is the Hooligan Nation KJ Nodwell shirt. I know KJ is a huge Ace Frehley fan, so we wanted to design a shirt that would be specifically for her and all the other Ace Frehley fans. Okay, moving right along. Yeah, the David Duchovny thing, to me, it was a waste of my time. But as I always say to the Hooligan Nation and the KISS Army, check it out for yourself. It's Gene Simmons on Fail Better with David Duchovny. It also proves exactly what everybody keeps saying, which means everybody has a podcast today.
Yeah.
Everybody. We are in the most saturated market I think, in the entire world. I mean, every day there's a new podcast that pops up.
There's something that kind of just made me think, and it may not even be, around this subject, but again, this is the way my mind works. Like, to me, there is so much easy shit to ask Gene and Paul. Easy stuff that every Kiss fan would be interested in. Hey, Gene, did you get along with Steven Tyler? What were your interactions with this band? What do you think about, you know what I mean? Like, but to me, it should be easy to ask them questions that we haven't gotten answers for. I don't know about you. I was extremely surprised that Gene had a relationship with Ozzy.
Yeah, but I think you're missing the point. The point is they're going on podcasts of people who know them as celebrities,
Right. Right.
not necessarily as Kiss.
No, I'm just saying what I want. Like the questions that
Oh,
I would think
no,
would be interesting.
I would agree. I mean, we have to sit here every week and search and find Paul Stanley on a podcast or Gene Simmons on a podcast, and then 58 out of 60 minutes of the podcast or an hour and a half out of the 2 hours of the podcast are shit that I don't think any of us Kiss fans are interested in at all. We want to hear about Kiss. We want to hear about Vegas. We want to hear about the past, the future, the present.
I mean, how many tours did they do with different bands? What was the tour like with this band? What was the tour with this band? Why did you grab this? Why did Ted Nugent open for you all these years? Like things like that. Like,
Yeah, they're not going to ask that question because I can guarantee you that Howie Mandel probably doesn't even know who Ted Nugent is. And if he does, he sure as hell doesn't know that Ted Nugent opened up for Kiss, or for that matter, than anybody else did. You can tell by watching these podcasts. I killed him for it a couple weeks ago, so why not kill him again?
but
Oh,
like when
you
some
guys
when
sold Kiss? How
mm,
do you
yeah,
how do
that
you
was asinine.
prepare for an interview and not know that they sold Kiss?
Yeah,
Like,
that should have been an embarrassing thing for them. Should have been. The other thing that I want to bring up is, and again, I go back to seeing the real Gene. Like, I don't know about you. Were you surprised to see Gene almost in tears talking about Ozzy?
yeah, I was a little surprised. I was. Um, I don't know how surprised I was, but I think I was more surprised to see what you refer to as the real Gene Simmons.
Right.
See, with me, I'm a little less forgiving and understanding than you. So, and I'm probably not right, nor do I really think I'm right. But the first thought that comes to my head is is the Gene that we usually see, is that the real Gene? And the one that went on Piers Morgan, is that the fake one? Or is it the other way around? Like, did Gene say, okay, I'm going on this show to talk about Ozzy, so I gotta get rid of gymnasiums. I gotta get rid of all those stupid jokes, and
Well,
I gotta say nice things about him. And look, credit to Gene for saying nice things about him, Roger Waters.
oof.
You know, like
You're just
literally.
trying to get me to say that word again, aren't you?
Well, I did have a lot of fun with it last week. Um, So that's what I wonder. But either way, look, Gene came across 100% sincere in the Piers Morgan show. And I think at the end of the day, regardless of whether he was real or that was the fake Gene, credit to him for saying the right things at the right time
Right.
instead of being a jackass like Roger Waters who says the wrong thing at the wrong time
Right.
and hopefully alienated half his fan base.
Yeah.
Hopefully, because
I
I mean, that's how you get even with a guy like that. Moving right along. Thank God. Thank God. Bruce Kulick flies in for the save again. I'm telling you, I thought this was going to be a really light episode because there wasn't much out there at all. And all of a sudden, I woke up this morning. By the way, folks, it is Tuesday, September 16th when we're filming this. And I woke up this morning and there it was. Bruce Kulick, another effing podcast with Izzy Presley. Big shout out, Izzy Presley. I'm a fan. And it was an interview that I would say was primarily about the 40th anniversary of Asylum, but I I put my little detective hat on and I got my little magnifying glass out and we went searching for evidential value and we found a few. First and foremost, Bruce confirms that he tried out for KISS during the 1983 cattle call. We have spoken about this in a past episode. I just don't remember which one. And I think I asked you at the time, imagine the what if.
mm,
And I'm going to bring it up again, just in case anybody didn't hear it or see it the last time. Can you imagine if Paul and Gene would have chosen Bruce Kulick in 1983 and how that could have changed the trajectory, another big word, and no, I can't spell it. It could have changed the trajectory. I knew I couldn't do it twice. The trajectory of the band, in that you wouldn't have dealt with Vinny, so you wouldn't have dealt with the entire Lick It Up tour of Vinny making it his own 30-minute solo. You wouldn't have dealt with Mark St. John coming in and going out so quickly. I think people might have looked at the band in a different way
mm,
if, you know, Eric Carr dies, but he died and it was no one's fault. Bruce would have been legitimately kind of the replacement for Ace.
mhm.
And there wouldn't be two other guitar players. And then when Eric Carr dies, I don't think anybody killed Kiss for bringing in Eric Singer as a replacement.
No, I mean, it was a necessity. You needed to get a replacement. The one thing that there's a couple points to that. Number one, Bruce was pretty raw at 83 in 83. He wasn't as confident guitar player as he became the second go around. Um, he he said he pretty much wouldn't. It would have been hard for him to do a character. Like the whole makeup thing and replacing Ace. Like you could tell, like he has a lot of respect for the core that Kiss started out with, and for him to be the guy that you know either puts Ace makeup on or creates another character or whatever. I think he would have had problems with that more than anybody else. But all that being said, Bruce, if he's shown anything through all of his years with Kiss, he's glue. He's a stabilizing factor. So if Bruce was on with them, they would have had that same lineup a long time.
Yep. And I also, he mentions that the makeup would have been a little bit of an issue. He kind of dances around the answer a little bit, which is what makes Bruce Bruce. Is he's not going to say anything inflammatory, uh, really about anybody.
But
I've never heard him say anything inflammatory about anybody.
no, I haven't either. But you know what's cool? Like he says it's like winning the lottery. He thought he'd be playing with them for 2 weeks. So you see how big Kiss was just to him alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That I think that's a really cool take when I hear Bruce talk like that.
We also have to remember that is the 71-year-old Bruce Kulick talking about the makeup and how that would be hard. That wasn't the 30 or 31-year-old or 27 for that matter, however old he would have been in 83. Uh you
He
know,
wouldn't. I don't think he would have been able to turn down the opportunity.
right. That's kind of what I'm saying. I mean, at 71 years old, and he said it before that he doesn't think he could wear the makeup, just like he said he wouldn't have wore Ace's makeup. I appreciate that, by the way, Bruce. But he had made his money. He was established, so he didn't feel, and this is just 100% conjecture. I don't think he felt like he had to stoop to that level of wearing Ace's makeup, especially if it made him uncomfortable to do that. Maybe a 25 to 30-year-old Bruce Kulick maybe goes, I don't really want to wear Ace's makeup,
Got
but
to do it.
I
Yeah,
need the job.
right. And you know what? His reflection, looking back on it, I think he's very happy the way it played out. Because I think if he sold his soul a little bit, it's kind of like selling your soul a little bit for that to do that. I think he would have felt. I don't. I think it would have bothered him. I think it's something that he would have held on to.
I think it's kind of funny, and I think we've both said this at different times. And I know for me, I still believe this. I believe Eric Carr and Bruce Kulick are probably the two most beloved members of KISS because you got to take Eric Singer and Tommy Thayer out of running because they wore Peter Criss and Ace Frehley's makeup, and that pisses a whole lot of us off. And then Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley, and Peter Criss, they've all pissed us off
Hmm.
in hundreds of different ways. The things they say, the things they do. Nobody's got anything on Bruce or Eric. They're both the two innocent members of KISS. And I didn't even bring up Mark St. John and Vinnie Vincent. And if I
No,
have to
no need.
explain,
Yeah, no need.
yeah, if I have to explain to anybody the Vinnie Vincent thing, you should go find the Taylor Swift podcast. Next, Bruce confirms that the Asylum t-shirt debacle was probably about Pop House slash UMG. For anybody that doesn't know, UMG is Universal Music Group. I'm not very happy with them these days because they decided to hit us with a copyright claim for a video that was 8 months old. And not that anybody out there really cares about this, maybe, but I am appealing it currently because I think it's crazy. They hit us with a copyright claim for having a minute and 5 seconds of the music video from A World Without Heroes with no volume. There's no music. And I re-edited it. Well, that was whoa, that was hard. I re-edited it. You know what I did? I
Yeah,
changed it.
yeah. We get the gist.
Yeah, well, that's part of fair use is you have to transform what you use, and we also talked over it, reviewing it and making it a current news event. So, in my opinion, which I know UMG and everybody else probably doesn't care about, but I care about it. In my opinion, it's fair use and we did what we were supposed to do. So, UMG will not be getting a Christmas card from the Hooligan Nation this year. But he says UMG and Pop House probably thought they didn't need to license Bruce or Eric Carr's estate, and boy, that was a mistake. because they learned very quickly that we can be an army when we really are angry about things. So hopefully going forward, that kind of stuff doesn't happen anymore. Next up, I thought this was kind of interesting. He talked about the competitiveness between Gene and Paul, and how if he pitched something to Gene and Gene didn't like it, he could not go pitch it to Paul, because if Paul knew that he had pitched it to Gene already, it was dead in the water. And same thing if he pitched it to Paul and Paul didn't like it, and he then went to pitch it with Gene, it would be dead in the water. So, if you really think about that,
That's
he
crazy.
he's got to write something, and then he's got to be able to kind of decipher which one it fits more, and he's got to go try to sell it to the right one, because if he doesn't, it's one shot and it's over with. I thought that was kind of interesting, and
Mm.
probably made his job much tougher.
No,
Oh,
not probably. Definitely made his job tougher.
yeah, that's the part that I think would be the toughest. And he's talked about that in the past, about being the monkey in the middle of
Well,
them
right,
too.
he calls like mom and dad, like trying to get in the middle of mom and dad.
Yep. This I thought was really cool, and I know that you don't know this. So the next two are really on here to shock you. Not shock me, but to
Mm,
shock you.
I'm all ears.
Bruce said he will play with KISS on Saturday night at the KISS Cruise Landlocked in Vegas. He doesn't know which songs or how many songs he will play with them, but he will play with them.
Nice.
So I know that was kind of a bucket list thing for both of us.
Absolutely.
So that's a good thing. This was, I don't know if this is an issue or not. I think where I have an issue with what I'm about to bring up is more with Pop House than with anybody else. But he said Bob Ezrin will not physically be at Landlocked in Vegas. He will be there through Zoom, according to Bruce. I'm slightly annoyed that Pop House didn't make that known. Because as far as I know, they haven't made that known. They just put it on the schedule that he would be doing a Q. I think he does two Q&As, actually, Bob Ezrin. And he will not physically be there for either one. He'll be in it over Zoom. So
I
take
mean,
that however
at
you
least he'll
want.
still be involved, but obviously, we'd rather have him like there physically.
Yeah, I don't know if it makes much of a difference to any of us. It's just annoying that they weren't forthright with that and didn't say that, he'll be zooming in, or however you want to put it. That's that lying by omission thing that nobody ever likes
Hmm.
to hear. Yeah, that. And
Now,
finally, oh, go ahead.
no, the music business is famous for that. It's
It is.
part of their advertising. It's part of their game plans.
Hey, that makes me think. I wonder if anybody's going to be pissed. Like, I wonder if Bruce gets a call like, hey, you weren't supposed to tell anybody that because we haven't told anybody that.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, we go back to anybody that wants to screw with Bruce, I think will have to deal with a large portion of the KISS Army. So
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know that they're going to even go that route. Because God forbid Bruce came on another podcast and said, oh, I can't talk about this. Pop House had something to say to me. No, no, no. Pop House, from me to you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Because I really, truly believe the KISS Army will stand up for Bruce quicker than they will for Gene or Paul.
Yeah,
Now,
I could see that. I mean, you got the old school guys that are always going to stick by the originals, but there is quite a big mass of Bruce guys. I'm one of them.
but even to the old school guys, Pamplemousse, and I think Pamplemousse would say this: Gene and Paul are not innocent in anything. Bruce is the closest thing to innocence that the KISS Army has left. Never done anything that I can think of. Never said anything stupid that I can think of. Constantly promotes KISS as a whole. Of course, his era more, but he even promotes the makeup era.
It's actually uncanny because he's got a unique ability to be able to always keep the greater good in mind for his own pocket, for everything. He's able to keep good relations. I mean, he's had a lot of involvement with like Meatloaf and Billy Squire and what you call it, Michael Bolton. Like he's had a lot of interaction with a lot of, and he seems like he's always keeping the table or keeping things open to where he's always going to have opportunities. He never burns his bridges.
No, he doesn't. He should have ran for political office. He'd have been a banging politician.
Hmm.
And finally, big thank you to Izzy Presley for asking the question that everyone has. He asked, "Where's Eric Singer?" Actually, specifically, he asked who's going to play drums for KISS.
Finally.
And Bruce's answer was straight out, "I don't know." And that's really all he got into, but he did say, but he's hoping for a Hail Mary, which makes me nervous. It does not sound good. Again, complete conjecture, but it sounds to me like this is a contractual money issue between Pop House and Eric Singer. That's
Because don't they both live in Vegas, so you would think that he has communication with Eric Singer possibly at times too.
oh no, he says in the interview that he talks to Eric Singer. Izzy Presley had saw Eric Singer because Izzy Presley is also in Vegas. That he saw him the night before, whenever they recorded that episode, and Bruce made a point to say if anyone is wondering if it's health related, it's not. Eric is healthy
Well,
and
that's good.
he's good. So that only leaves out, I guess it leaves out a couple things, but to me, this has always been a money grab thing. And I'm not knocking Eric Singer at all. Like, he wants the bag. I don't even know if he wants the bag. I'm not sure that Pop House didn't do what they did to Bruce and Eric and just dismissed them. Like, yeah, we don't need them. I hope that's not what it is.
Yeah, I hope not either.
I mean, look, if Eric Singer, and I've said this before about Ace and Peter, if Eric Singer wants the same money as Paul or Gene, or more money than Paul or Gene, now I can understand why Pop House goes, yeah, no, we're not paying you more money than the rest of the guys. I don't even think Eric can demand the same amount of money, and I'm pretty sure that Tommy didn't get the same amount of money as them, but they
But
should offer him at least what they offered Tommy Thayer, and maybe they're not doing that.
I think it's good business to have all of them involved and to have the whole full gamut of what KISS was, every member, because it's a way for them to maximize their investment and utilize every era.
Yeah, it is. And the only thing I'll say is we do have time. We do have time for that so-called Hail Mary. I would guess, and I clearly don't know what I'm talking about, but I would guess that they need a couple weeks of rehearsing
Yeah, I would think so.
for the acoustic set and for the electric set.
Am I
So
wrong? Does Eric live? Does he live in Vegas? I don't know if he does.
I
Not sure.
think Tommy does not live in Vegas, I don't think, but I think Eric lives in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't know for sure. I'm not going to go on record saying he does, but if he does, if they're negotiating, it still makes it a little bit more of a chance because he's already there, you know?
Right. And they still have well over they got 6 weeks. They got to me, and maybe I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
I think they got 6 weeks. I mean, if they signed a deal with him November 1st. That would give them 2 weeks to rehearse if they got right in and started to rehearse. Hopefully, they'll continue to negotiate, and hopefully, everybody brings common sense to the table by November 14th, and they can make it happen. Because to me, as someone who's going, it would be a big letdown to see Paul, Gene, Tommy, and some dude, or Paul, Gene, Bruce, and
Yeah, I mean,
some
look,
dude. You got anything else?
the only thing that I'm hoping for is that, Gene and Paul, they still it seems like they still, regardless of not Pop House owning what they own, it still seems to me like Gene, or at least Paul, still have a lot of say. So I'm hoping if it does get down to crunch time, that Paul or Gene will really kind of get involved and try to, if it's needed, they'll find a way to facilitate making it happen.
I'm going to say something really crazy. I just want to prepare you for that.
Okay.
I think that when you get right to the point of no return, Gene or Paul should step in, and if they got to throw some money at him, they should do it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's easy for us to spend their money, but I mean, Eric belongs there, period. He belongs there.
How much money can it cost? How much money can it cost? Gene's charging $3,000 to have dinner with him.
I don't even think, honestly, again, it's how they keep score, right? I don't think it's necessarily about the money. It's about the respect.
But we've discussed this in the past. Money translates to respect to most professional musicians, to most professional athletes,
Right.
and you know what? In real life, to most professionals. If you're listening to us on any of the podcast platforms, please leave us a review. And if you just found us, check out our past episodes. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel and you like this episode, please consider hitting the like button, just like that fine fellow right there, and leaving us a comment. Hit that subscribe button, just like our favorite Father Rocco, so you don't miss any future episodes, and check out these episodes right here. As always, if you made it this far, thank you for supporting us, and don't forget, we should all lead with love and take care of each other. Peace out, Hooligan
Amen.
Nation.